I hope he retires soon. I put Kobe right there also, but Michael and Kobe will kill you. LeBron's a nice guy.
Right.
Michael and Kobe will kill you.
LeBron James sat down with the cameras, smiled like he always does, and said something that the entire basketball world could not help but replay. He looked straight at the mic and said something, "Music, I've never been a numbers guy, to be honest." Those 5 words detonated on social media because context collides with irony in sports like nothing else. This is the same LeBron who has given us milestone after milestone, who has celebrated passing Kareem with a crown, who tweeted about eclipsing Dennis Rodman in career rebounds, and who once stayed in a game until he locked up a triple-double. So when he says he is not a numbers guy, music, it does not land as a humble confession. It lands as comedic evidence. And there is no one in sports television better at turning that contradiction into a full comedy routine than Charles, music, Barkley. Picture the scene on Inside the NBA. The clip plays, the studio goes quiet for half a second, and then Barkley loses it. He starts laughing loud and genuine, the kind of laugh that fills the room and makes everyone else grin. He throws his head back and says something like, "Not a numbers guy. Man, that is the funniest thing I have heard all week." Barkley does not just laugh because the words are funny. He laughs because LeBron made a long career by living inside the very thing he just dismissed. Barkley knows the game, and he knows theatrics, and he loves when an elite athlete gives him a gift of contradiction that he can break apart on live television. You know, I find the let's talk about the Michael LeBron thing. They played in different eras. In my opinion, they're right there. It's either A or B, okay. Music. But I would say this about LeBron. Number 1. I like him a lot as a person. I think he's a nice guy. Never said that about Michael Jordan. It's hard. He'll kill you. He'll kill you. When Barkley breaks it down, he does it with the bluntness fans love. Music. He points out the moments that make LeBron's sentence sound impossible. He mentions the time LeBron stayed in to chase a triple-double because that is what elite competitors do when numbers matter to legacy. He brings up the crown celebration after the all-time scoring record. He plays the clip where someone sends LeBron a stat and he tweets it like a proud parent showing a school test. To Barkley, these are not accidents or quirks. They are the fingerprints of a player who has measured his career in benchmarks and milestones. Saying you are not a numbers guy when your life reads like a stats ledger is comedic gold to him. But Barkley does more than mock. He uses the quote to open a larger conversation about what numbers mean in modern sports. Music, for Barkley, numbers are language and a stage. They let fans and historians argue. They let the media program hours of content, and they let players create narratives about greatness. Music, Barkley will remind the audience that the LeBron versus Jordan debate is nothing more than numbers in disguise dressed up as philosophy. Championships, scoring totals, final statistics, advanced metrics. The whole debate eventually boils down to numbers because fans crave something objective to hold on to in a subjective argument about legacy. Why he's still doing this, at age 41 and in his 23rd season. He loves the challenge of it and he loves new challenges. And so I think what we've tried to do as a coaching staff, Snorts, is challenge him in different ways. Here's the part no one is telling you. Music. What makes Barkley's reaction special is that he never punches down. He frames the contradiction as something to enjoy, not something to shame. Music. He will imitate LeBron, pretend to be befuddled, and then calmly walk the audience through a list of moments that paint a picture much larger than a single quote. He will bring up the specific instance where LeBron glared at a teammate after a rebound cost him a triple-double and ask honestly if that reaction comes from a place of indifference to stats. The question is rhetorical because music, the clip and the body language already gave the answer. Beyond the laughs, Barkley, music, pivots to roster reality and uses the moment to highlight how numbers shape decision-making in the front office. He points out that LeBron plays in a league where teams are evaluated by data, where advanced analytics determine rotations, and where net ratings can decide a coach's job status. If LeBron's play is being measured objectively with a 3-man combination that looks suboptimal when the numbers are run, then whether or not he identifies as a numbers guy is less relevant than the raw metrics themselves. Barkley loves to watch people get schooled by the math, and he relishes the irony of a player who downplays stats while the organization must live and die by them. There's one thing I'm sure of. This is his last year with the Lakers. He's not going to play with the Lakers next year. I'd like to. I've always said I'd like to see him finish in Cleveland. I'm not opposed to him getting traded to Cleveland this year, to be honest with you, because the Eastern Conference is up for grabs. The segment expands naturally into examples that feed the laughter. Barkley relives the night LeBron passed Kareem. He paints the image of the crown celebration and then asks, "Is that what someone who is not into numbers does?" He jokes about the tweet claiming new rebound milestones and then plays the internet reaction of fans incredulously saying, "He said what?" The comedy follows the logic a fan would use watching the game, a logic that says, if milestones did not matter, you would not see the chest puffing, the social posts, the lingering on stat lines that fuel the GOAT conversation, music, every single media cycle. At times, Barkley gets serious because part of his brand is brutal honesty wrapped in humor. He acknowledges that players are complex and, music. Their public comments are sometimes crafted to deflect heat or to manage expectations. Music. He notes that LeBron saying he's not a numbers guy might be intended to signal he values winning over personal accolades. Barkley will say with a grin that of course winning matters most, but then he laughs and points out that fans will always use numbers to measure whether that claimed priority was followed in practice. It is Barkley's gift to hold both truths at once. He mocks and he empathizes in the same breath. Like I said, I'd love to see him finish his career in Cleveland because I've been on the record. I thought he shouldn't have never left Cleveland, but this is his last year with the Lakers. The Lakers pretty much like, yo, this is it. No Inside the NBA segment would be complete without a bit of theater, music, and Barkley provides it. He leans into the absurdity by imagining hypothetical conversations between LeBron and statisticians. He narrates a scene where a numbers analyst walks up and LeBron shrugs and says he does not care. The Lakers pretty much like, yo, this is it. No Inside the NBA segment would be complete without a bit of theater, music, and Barkley provides it. He leans into the absurdity by imagining hypothetical conversations between LeBron and statisticians. He narrates a scene where a numbers analyst walks up and LeBron shrugs and says he does not care, and Barkley responds by pretending to be the analyst, yelling, "Music, your career is a spreadsheet." The studio erupts. Laughs transform into a broader discussion about athlete identity in the age of data. And Barkley's cadence helps audiences who are less numerically literate understand why the contradiction matters in the conversation about legacy. Naturally, the hosts bring in the Lakers headlines because, music, the quote does not exist in isolation. The team sits in a tough spot this season. Music, they have moments of brilliance on offense and troubling lapses on defense. Music, the media is dissecting rotations and asking whether LeBron should come off the bench. Barkley uses the LeBron quote to lampoon how public narratives are built. Music, he'll say something like, if LeBron is not a numbers guy, then why do the numbers keep following him? He, music, smiles, then delivers a line that lands like a MIC drop. He points to the lineup data, the defensive, music, rating, and asks whether the organization should be more guided by analytics or by the instinct that a player's aura can overcome negative, music, metrics. Here is the truth no one is going to tell you. Barkley also knows how to invite the audience into the debate without making it mean-spirited. He teases the LeBron faithful and the LeBron skeptics alike. Music. He jokes that fans will always find a way to defend their hero by inventing new interpretations of phrases. He prods skeptics by saying their moment of schadenfreude is too delicious to, music, ignore. He continues to laugh because great television is collaborative, and fans at home are part of the joke. They will replay the clip and send it to friends. Music, social feeds will explode, and Barkley knows he just gave those feeds more ammunition. Even as Barkley laughs, he offers a closing thought that is surprisingly tender. He reminds viewers that LeBron is, music, one of the greatest players ever, and that every athlete is allowed to say strange things under pressure. Barkley points out that this career was built on more than numbers. It, music, was built on longevity, on leadership, on clutch plays, on late game decisions, and on cultural moments that have little to do with metrics. Then he laughs again and admits the funniest part is that LeBron, who so often lives in a numbers, music, world, sounded blissfully detached when he said the line. That paradox is Barkley's final punchline, a perfectly delivered observation that folds humor, critique, and admiration into one moment. By the time the segment ends, the laughter has given way, music, to a thoughtful buzz. The clip is trending, talk shows are running the soundbite, and fans on both sides are sharpening their takes. Music. Barkley has done his job. He turned a short, almost throwaway comment into a wide-angle conversation about legacy, data, identity, and the theater of modern sports. He made people laugh, but he also made them think. At the end of the day, Barkley will probably throw one more one-liner into the mix, something about how nobody can deny the numbers, even if they don't want to live in them. He'll smile, shake his head, and remind the audience that sports are about music, contradictions. Great athletes are complicated people, and LeBron just gave the world a wonderful contradiction to dissect. Fans will keep debating whether he was sincere or rhetorical. The analysts will keep pulling up charts and clips, and Charles Barkley will keep laughing because when the best moments come from the collision of truth and irony, nothing on television beats it. Do you support Charles or LeBron? Let us know.